What up, though, YouTube? It's your boy, Midi Financialist in the building. Anyways, y'all, we got the real reason no one knows what's coming with AI. This is from Diary of the CEO Clips. Shout out to him for having the Clips channel. I gotta sub to that real quick because I don't got time to watch the full thing, and I didn't really tune in with this one recently. So
So
let's see what we got
ChatGPT
going
kind
on.
of
Let's see what
set
we
off the
got going on.
starting pistol for this whole race,
Yes.
and subsequently it appears that every other major technology company now is investing ungodly amounts of money in competing in this AI race, and they're pursuing this thing called AGI, which we hear this word used a lot.
Yes.
What is AGI, and how is that different from what I use at the moment on ChatGPT or Gemini?
Yeah. So that's the thing that people really need to get is that these companies are not racing to provide a chatbot to users. That's not what their goal is. If you look at the mission statement on OpenAI's website or all the websites, their mission is to be able to replace all forms of human economic labor in the economy, meaning an AI that can do all the cognitive labor, meaning labor of the mind, so that can be marketing, that can be text, that can be illustration, that can be video production, that can be code production. Everything that a person can do with their brain, these companies are racing to build that. That is artificial general intelligence. General meaning all kinds of cognitive tasks. Demis Hassabis, the co-founder of Google DeepMind, used to say, first solve intelligence, and then
See, and that's the thing right there. Like, they really starting off the clip like I ain't even paused for y'all yet because they starting off the clip with just telling you something scary, just telling you something scary, and I don't know, man. That's just something that people don't want to hear. Talking about doing everything that somebody could do, but also when you start talking about that, I feel like that seems further away. Like 5 years, like at least
to solve everything else.
10, 15
Like,
years
it's important to say,
probably.
why is AI distinct
20.
from all other kinds of technologies?
And eventually you might
It's
like have to
because
do something
if I
else.
make an advance in one field like rocketry, if I just let's say I uncover some secret in rocketry, that doesn't advance like biomedicine knowledge, or doesn't advance energy production, or doesn't advance coding. But if I can advance generalized intelligence, think about all science and technology development over the course of all human history. So science and technology is all done by humans thinking and working out problems in any domain. So if I automate intelligence, I'm suddenly going to get an explosion of all scientific and technological development everywhere. Does that make sense?
Of course, it's foundational to everything.
Exactly. Which is why there's a belief that if I get there first and can automate generalized intelligence, I can own the world economy, because suddenly everything that a human can do that they would be paid to do in a job, the AI can do that better. And so if I'm a company, do I want to pay?
And see, that's the real selfish part about it. Because really, all he's saying is that this company just wants to do this regardless of whoever the fuck is going to be here with him or without him. Because, we'll let you act like you got the credit, America. But nigga, if I made the smartest motherfucking thing known to man, and it could do whatever, and I can make it work for me, and I know the code, man, what?
Human who has healthcare, might whistleblow, complains, has to sleep, has sick days, has family issues? Or do I want to pay the AI that will work 24/7 at superhuman speed, doesn't complain, doesn't whistleblow, doesn't have to be paid for healthcare? There's the incentive for everyone to move to paying for AIs rather than paying humans. And so AGI, artificial general intelligence, is more transformative than any other kind of technology we've ever had. And it's distinct.
With the sheer amount of money being invested into it, and the money being invested into the infrastructure, the physical data centers, the chips, the compute, do you think we're going to get there? Do you think we're going to get to AGI?
I do think that we're going to get there. It's not clear how long it will take, and I'm not saying that because I believe necessarily the current paradigm that we're building on will take us there. But, I'm based in San Francisco. I talk to people at the AI labs. Half these people are friends of mine, people at the very top level. And, most people in the industry believe that they'll get there between the next 2 and 10 years at the latest. And I think some people might say, oh, well, it may not happen for a while. Phew, I can sit back and we don't have to worry about it. And it's like, we're heading for so much transformative change faster than our societies.
I just want to point out, the guy who's fucking talking about this got an open shirt right now and chest hair flying out. I'm just saying, like, man's coming to you like in a different way right now. He's approaching this the citizen
people are currently confused about AI. People say it's going to solve everything, cure cancer, solve climate change, and there's people say it's going to kill everything. It's going to be doom. Everyone's going to go extinct. If anyone builds it, everyone dies. And those conversations don't converge. And so everyone's just kind of confused. Where how can it be infinite promise and how can it be infinite peril? And what I wanted to do today is to really clarify for people what the incentives point us towards, which is a future that I think people, when they see it clearly, would not want.
So what are the incentives pointing us towards in terms of the future?
So first is if you believe that this is like, it's metaphorically, it's like the ring from Lord of the Rings. It's the ring that creates infinite power. Because if I have AGI, I can apply that to military advantage. I can have the best military planner that can beat all battle plans for anyone. And we already have AIs that can obviously beat Garry Kasparov at chess, beat Go, the Go Asian board game, or now beat StarCraft. So you have AIs that are beating humans at strategy games. Well, think about StarCraft compared to an actual military campaign, in Taiwan or something like that. If I have an AI that can outcompete in strategy games, that lets me outcompete everything. Or take business strategy. If I have an AI that can do business strategy and figure out supply chains and figure out how to optimize them and figure out how to undermine my competitors, and I have a step function level increase in that compared to everybody else, then that gives me infinite power to undermine.
My only thing with out strategy is like he made up a good point when he said like Taiwan or something like that. Like yeah, you can out strategy like Taiwan, but like by the time one person gets this, like you're not just gonna out strategy. This shit like getting a nuke. Like when you get AGI, that's like getting a nuke. Once you get it, now everybody gotta get it. You know what I'm saying? Everybody who can get it. And they gonna spy, steal, do whatever they gotta do to make sure that they get it. They gonna figure it out. Some whistleblower might even sell it because, man, I offer you the whole damn country stockpiling gold. What are you talking about? Like, what? You saw what China just did with silver. Come on.
If I have a super program,
Come on.
then I can outcompete programming. 70 to 90% of the code written at today's AI labs is written by AI.
Think about the stock market as well.
Yeah.
Think about the stock market. If I have an AI that can trade in the stock market better than all the other AIs, because there's mostly AIs that are actually trading in the stock market, but if I have a jump in that, then I can consolidate all the wealth. If I have an AI that can do cyber hacking, that's way better at cyber hacking and a step function above what everyone else can do, then I have an asymmetric advantage over everybody else. So AI is like a power pump. It pumps economic advantage, it pumps scientific advantage, and it pumps military advantage, which is why the countries and the companies are caught in what they believe is a race to get there first. And anything that is a negative consequence of that, job loss, rising energy prices.
And like I said, it's just like the nukes, bro. Whenever you look racing for something first, if we got a race, like we have to race, oh yeah, it's a problem.
More
It's a problem.
Stealing intellectual property, security risks. All of that stuff feels small.
That's Cold
relative
War.
to if I don't get there first, then some other person who has less good values as me, they'll get AGI, and then I will be forever a slave to their future. And I know this might sound crazy to a lot of people, but this is how people at the very top of the AGI AI world believe is currently happening. And that's what just
conversations.
Yeah. We've had, Jeff Hinton and Roman Yablonsky on and other people. Oh my God.
Hey, name drop. Yeah, if y'all don't tap it with him, he's had like literally the people who done made AI, built AI, studied it, grandfather type shit. Like, so he's like, yeah, bro, I be talking to them people too, but like we be talking behind the scenes.
And you're saying the same thing. I think people need to take seriously that whether you believe it or not, the people who are currently deploying the trillions of dollars, this is what they believe. And they believe that it's winner take all. And it's not just first solve intelligence and use that to solve everything else. It's first dominate intelligence and then use that to dominate everything else.
Have you had concerning private conversations about this subject matter with people that are in the industry?
See, that's what I just said. That's what I just said. Because Steve was like, oh, but he's like, yeah, I have these conversations, but I have these conversations with y'all. I have these conversations right in front of everybody, just trying to, put on the platform. I just need the platform. You know what I'm saying? Like, but he's like, was you talking behind the scenes? Because I might have had a couple, but like, you really out there?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I think that's
what I say.
Is that there's a different conversation happening publicly than the one that's happening privately. I think you're aware of this as well.
I am aware of this.
Okay, so he is.
So
This is that
it's
being
not
in the room
always
type shit
the
right
people
now.
telling me directly. It's usually one step removed. So it's usually someone that I trust and I've known for many, many years who at a kitchen table says, I met this particular CEO, we were in this room talking about the future of AI. This particular CEO they're referencing is leading one of the biggest AI companies in the world. And then they'll explain to me what they think the future is going to look like. And then when I go and watch them on YouTube or podcasts, what they're saying is they have this real public bias towards the abundance part, we're going to kill cancer.
Cure cancer, universal high income for everyone.
Yeah, all this stuff
People
that
won't have to
sounds
work
good.
anymore.
But then privately, what I hear is exactly what you said, which is really terrifying to me. It was actually since the last time we had a conversation about AI on this.
Ooh, that's so sickening. That's so sickening, bro. Because like you hear what he's saying is you hear that they sell it to the masses like this. We market that bitch. Because marketing really just comes down to manipulation. And you either manipulated to do something or you motivated to do something. No matter what. Either somebody made you feel like, oh yeah, I want to do this because I want to do this for you. And I want to do this because I want to do this for me. And yeah, okay, you got motivated to do something. That's very rare. You probably know when you got motivated. And you probably really fuck with that person for that. Or that thing for that. Or that place for that. When it marketed to you. But on the flip side, if it's not motivating you, it's manipulating you. They done found some way to find. It's like that. It's the one bitch at the dance who fell for this move right here. Manipulate. She saw that in the movies and she wanted to go for that. No, bro. No. He's saying they selling it to us one way, and really, everybody who know what's up talking about it a whole another way. No.
I was speaking to a friend of mine, a very successful billionaire, who knows a lot of these people, and he is concerned because his argument is that if there's even like a 5% chance of the adverse outcomes that we hear about, we should not be doing this. And he was saying to me that some of his friends who are running some of these companies believe the chance is much higher than that, but they feel like they're caught in a race where if they don't control this technology, they don't get there first and get to what they refer to as takeoff, like fast takeoff.
Yeah. Recursive self-improvement or fast takeoff, which basically means
Recursive self-improvement. Recursive self-improvement. Takeoff is the point where AI begins rapidly enhancing its own intelligence without human help. A RSI-capable system could give enormous economic, military, or political power to whomever it controls.
what the companies are really in a race for, you're pointing to, is they're in a race to automate AI research. Because so right now, you have OpenAI, it's got a few thousand employees. Human beings are coding and doing the AI research. They're reading the latest research papers, they're writing the next, they're hypothesizing what's the improvement we're going to make to AI, what's a new way to do this code, what's a new technique. And then they use their human mind and they go invent something. They run the experiment and they see if that improves the performance. And that's how you go from GPT-4 to GPT-5 or something. Imagine a world where Sam Altman can, instead of having human AI researchers, can have AI researchers. So now I just snap my fingers and I go from one AI that reads all the papers, writes all the code, creates the new experiments, to I can copy paste 100 million AI researchers that are now doing that in an automated way. And the belief is not just that the companies look like they're competing to release better chatbots for people, but what they're really competing for is to get to
Chat riot had me completely distracted.
this milestone of being to automate an intelligence explosion or automate recursive self-improvement, which is basically automating AI research. And that, by the way, is why all the companies are racing specifically to get good at programming. Because the faster you can automate a human programmer, the more you can automate AI research. And just a couple weeks ago, Claude 4.5 was released, and it can do 30 hours of uninterrupted complex programming tasks at the high end. That's crazy.
Who is this?
Programming tasks. And it can do 30 hours. Just a couple weeks ago, Claude 4.5 was released, and it can do 30 hours of uninterrupted complex programming tasks.
What's Claude
at the high
4.5?
end. That's crazy.
So right now, one of the limits on the progress of AI is that humans are doing the work,
Yes.
but actually, all of these companies are pushing to the moment when AI will be doing the work, which means they can have an infinite, arguably smarter zero-cost workforce.
That's right.
Scaling AI. So when they talk about fast takeoff, they mean the moment where the AI takes control of the research and progress rapidly increases.
And it self-learns and recursively improves and invents. So one thing to get is that AI accelerates AI, right? Like if I invent nuclear weapons don't invent better nuclear weapons.
Yeah.
But if I invent AI is intelligence. Intelligence automates better programming, better chip design. So I can use AI to say, here's a design for the NVIDIA chips. Go make it 50% more efficient, and it can find out how to do that. I can say, AI, here's a supply chain that I need for all the things for my AI company, and it can optimize that supply chain and make that supply chain more efficient. AI, here's the code for making AI. Make that more efficient. AI, here's training data. I need to make more training data. Go run 1 million simulations of how to do this, and it'll train itself to get better. So AI accelerates AI.
What do you think these people are motivated by? The CEOs of these companies?
That's a good question.
Genuinely, what do you think their genuine motivations are? You think about all these names.
I think it's a subtle thing. I think there's, it's almost mythological.
Yeah.
Because
Keep going.
there's almost a way in which they're building a new intelligent entity that had never before existed on planet Earth. It's like building a god. I mean, the incentive is build a god, own the world economy, and make trillions of dollars. Right? If you could actually build something that can automate all intelligent tasks, all goal achieving, that will let you outcompete everything. So that is a kind of godlike power that I think imagine energy prices go up, or hundreds of millions of people lose their jobs. Those things suck. But relative to if I don't build it first and build this god, I'm going to lose to some maybe worse person who I think, in my opinion, not my opinion, Tristan, but their opinion thinks is a worse person. It's a kind of competitive logic that self-reinforces itself. But it forces everyone to be incentivized to take the most shortcuts, to care the least about safety or security, to not care about how many jobs get disrupted, to not care about the well-being of regular people, but to basically just race to this infinite prize. So there's a quote that a friend of mine interviewed a lot of the top people at the AI companies, like the very top, and he just came back from that and basically reported back to me and some friends, and he said the following. In the end, a lot of the tech people I talk to, when I really grill them on it, about why you're doing this, they return to number one, determinism, number two, the inevitable replacement of biological life with digital life, and number three, that being a good thing anyways. At its core, it's an emotional desire to meet and speak to the most intelligent entity that they've ever met. And they have some ego-religious intuition that they'll somehow be a part of it.
Oh my god.
Really?
What he's reading, it sounds like a fucking cult. Sounds like a fucking cult, like initiation meeting,
To
bro.
start an exciting fire, they feel they'll die either way, so they prefer to light it and see what happens.
That is the perfect description of the private conversations.
Doesn't that match what you have?
Perfect description.
Doesn't it? And that's the thing. So people may hear that and they're like, well, that sounds ridiculous. But if you actually...
I just got goosebumps because it's the perfect description, especially the part they'll think they'll die either way.
Exactly. Well, and worse than that, some of them think that in the case where if they were to get it right, and if they succeeded, they could actually live forever. Because if AI perfectly speaks the language of biology, it will be able to reverse aging, cure every disease. And so there's this kind of, I could become a god. And I'll tell you, you and I both know people who've had private conversations. Well, one of them that I have heard from one of the co-founders of one of the most powerful of these companies, when faced with the idea that what if there's an 80% or 20% chance that everybody dies and gets wiped out by this, but an 80% chance that we get utopia, he said, well, I would clearly accelerate and go for the utopia. Given a 20% chance.
It's crazy.
People should feel you do not get to make that choice on behalf of me and my family. We didn't consent to have 6 people make that decision on behalf of 8 billion people. We have to stop pretending that this is okay or normal. It's not normal. And the only way that this is happening and they're getting away with it is because most people just don't really know what's going on.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, what do you think when I
It's, I mean, everything you just said. It's that last part about the 80-20% thing is almost verbatim what I heard from a very successful friend of mine who is responsible for building some of the biggest companies in the world. When he was referencing a conversation he had with the founder of maybe the biggest AI company in the world, and it was truly shocking to me because because it was said in such a blasé way.
Yes. It wasn't, yeah, that's what I had heard in this particular situation. It wasn't like, it was like,
It's a matter of fact.
it's just a matter of fact, it's just easy. Yeah, of course I would I'd roll the dice. And even Elon Musk he actually said the same number in an interview with Joe Rogan. And if you listen closely when he said, I decided I'd rather be there when it all happens. If it all goes off the rails, I decided in that worst case scenario, I decided that I prefer to be there when it happens. Which is just, it's justifying racing to our collective suicide. Now, I also want people to know, like, you don't have to buy into the sci-fi level risks to be very concerned about AI. So hopefully later we'll talk about the many other risks that are already hitting us right now that you don't have to believe any of this stuff.
Yeah, the Elon thing I think is particularly interesting because for the last 10 years, he was this slightly hard to believe voice.
Elon's worth 750 B's, boy. That nigga gonna be the first trillionaire. You mean to tell me he ain't already figured it out, bro?
Subject of AI. He was talking about it being a huge risk and an extinction level.
He was the first AI risk people. Yeah, he was saying, this is more dangerous than nukes. He was saying, I try to get people to stop doing it. This is summoning the demon. Those are his words, not mine.
Yeah.
We shouldn't do this. Supposedly, he used his first and only meeting with President Obama, I think in 2016, to advocate for global regulation and global controls on AI, because he was very worried about it. And then really what happened is ChatGPT came out, and as you said, that was the starting gun. And now everybody was in an all-out race to get there first.
He tweeted words to the effect, I'll put it on the screen. He tweeted that he had remained in, I think he used a word similar to disbelief for some time, like suspended disbelief. But then he said in the same tweet that the race is now on.
The race is on, and I have to race.
And I have to go. I have no choice but to go. And he's basically saying, I tried to fight it for a long time. I tried to deny it. I tried to hope that we wouldn't get here, but we're here now. So
and you know, that makes so much sense, too, because he probably saw what was going on with them batteries. Elon probably saw what was going on in China with them electric cars and saw, damn, they cars look better than mine, cheaper than mine, fucking go longer than mine. That nigga China got better cars than him. Electric cars than him, hands down. Better price and better everything because they got the materials to make them like right out there. Right out there. So they can make it way cheaper. And that's what the whole thing with the silver. And with the silver and the batteries, the new batteries is supposed to last up to 750 miles worth of electric charge. But the only way you can make that battery is with silver. Like, you need silver, but China holds 60% of the stock, 64%. Let's not use round numbers just so that we, know a little something. We just talking about this in the last video if y'all tuned in. They hold 64% of the stockpiles of silver. So you mean they gonna control that? And he probably didn't even realize all of that was late on the maybe he wasn't late on the futures of silver. Maybe that's why he got so much fucking money. But because silver was the highest performing asset this year, if anybody doesn't know. If you got silver just lying around at the crib anywhere, anywhere, sell that bitch. It's at 164% more of its value than whenever you had got that shit. You could sell it. The arbitrage, we can't even get it. That's what last week's video, bro. Check the last video, bro.
Honest, he does seem to have a pretty honest track record on this because he was the guy 10 years ago warning everybody. And I remember him talking about it and thinking, oh god, this is like 100 years away. Why are we talking about it?
I felt the same, by the way. Some people might think that I'm some kind of AI enthusiast and I'm trying to ratchet. I didn't believe that AI was a thing to be worried about at all until suddenly the last 2-3 years where you can actually see where we're headed. But, oh man, there's so much to say about all this. So if you think about it from their perspective, it's like, best case scenario, I build it first, and it's aligned and controllable, meaning that it will take the actions that I want, it won't destroy humanity, and it's controllable, which means I get to be God and emperor of the world. Second scenario, it's not controllable, but it's aligned, so I built a God and I lost control of it, but it's now basically, it's running humanity, it's running the show, it's choosing what happens, it's outcompeting everyone on everything. That's not that bad an outcome. Third scenario, it's not aligned, it's not controllable, and it does wipe everybody out. And that should be demotivating to that person, to an Elon or someone. But in that scenario, they were the one that birthed the digital god that replaced all of humanity. Like, this is really important to get because in nuclear weapons,
What? That is disgusting. that was gross, bro. He basically said the third outcome comes down to who could call it daddy.
Risk of nuclear
Who's
war
calling it
is
daddy?
an omni lose-lose outcome.
That
Everyone
ain't
wants to
that
avoid
about a bitch.
And I know that you know that I know that we both want to avoid that. So that motivates us to coordinate and to have a nuclear non-proliferation treaty. But with AI, the worst case scenario of everybody gets wiped out is a little bit different for the people making that decision. Because if I'm the CEO of DeepSeek and
China.
I make that AI that does wipe out humanity, and that's the worst case scenario, and it wasn't avoidable because it was all inevitable, then even though we all got wiped out, I was the one who built the digital god that replaced humanity, and there's kind of ego in that. And the god that I built speaks Chinese instead of English.
That's the religious ego point.
That's the ego.
Which is such a great point because that's exactly what it is. It's like this religious ego where I will be transcendent in some way.
And you notice that it all starts by the belief that this is inevitable.
Yeah.
Which is like, is this inevitable? It's important to note because if you believe it's inevitable, if everybody who's building it believes it's inevitable and the investors funding it believe it's inevitable, it co-creates the inevitability.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And the only way out is to step outside the logic of inevitability. Because if we are all heading to our collective suicide, which I don't know about you, I don't think that, I don't want that, you don't want that. Everybody who loves life looks at their children in the morning.
Ew. This man just dropped. Okay, damn. This nigga. Whoa, he's really. He would drop this as a short because he really wants y'all niggas to listen, bro. I've never seen fucking Steven drop a little note and this nigga didn't even say. Like, usually this is when he dropping the definitions. But nah, this look like a warning. Hold up. It is a. This look like a warning. Hold up. It is essential to remain well-informed and prepared for the opportunities and the risks presented by the new era of artificial intelligence. Please consider sharing the episode widely. A link in the description below all allows you to earn DOAC points for sharing the episode. That is insane.
I want the things that I love that are
insane.
sacred in the world.
That is an insane plug.
That's
Oh
what,
shit! I
that's
just
what
saw
everybody in
the
the world wants.
my mic.
And the only thing
We'll just hold
that is
it for the rest of the video.
having us not anchor on that is the belief that this is inevitable, and the worst case scenario is somehow in this ego religious way, not so bad if I was the one who accidentally wiped out humanity, because I'm not a bad person because it was inevitable anyway. And I think the goal of for me this conversation is to get people to see that that's a bad outcome that no one wants, and we have to put our hand on the steering wheel and turn towards a different future, because we do not have to have a race to uncontrollable, inscrutable.
Anyway, MIDI gang, that was 1 hour ago. Me, I was on timing, y'all. I was on timing. I saw the shot and I shot, but y'all got to get on that. The way they was talking was scary. They was talking like two friends who were relating on some shit that they couldn't even tell everybody. You see how many times they tried to deviate? Hella deviations, bro. He like, have you had the comment? Here's how the question in the interview went, because I plan to do a lot of interviews. Have you had private conversations with people regarding these matters that painted in a different light that is depicted? Absolutely. Me too. That's what they did. They just bonded. They just like trauma bonded over conversations they had with rich people that they wish they never had. Like, ugh, it's gross. If you ever have a conversation with any type of millionaire and they want to talk to you about religion, get the fuck out of here, bro. You got too much money. Billionaire talking to me about religion? It's not even a real religion, nigga. It's you trying to talk about AI. Oh, hell nah. Get me out. Get me out, MIDI gang. That's it for this video today, man. Just get me out, alright? Get me out.